Hello, romantics. Welcome back. This is actually episode 58. So in this episode, you listen to us refer to it as 57. If you listen to our last episode, you realize that we actually switched this episode and the last one in order to align more with American Thanksgiving, to represent our American listeners. And we read a Canadian Thanksgiving book for American Thanksgiving. So we switched this around. So don't be surprised if you hear things that might confuse you, or we reference, next book, when actually this is, quote unquote, the next book. And a lot of what we refer to in this episode comes from our last episode, The Basilisk of Star Manor. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode, and happy Thanksgiving to our American listeners. And we're back. Episode 57. This is episode 57. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We picked a Thanksgiving book. This will come out,
Except for this Canadian Thanksgiving.
This is a Canadian Thanksgiving book, but this will come out the weekend after American Thanksgiving. So we thought it was kind of fitting. Canadian book, Canadian author. This is Ayesha, one half of this podcast.
This is Lexi, the other half of this podcast.
And welcome back to Sisters Reading Romance. This week, we read A Match Made for Thanksgiving by Jackie Lau. Pretty sure that's how you say it. That's how you pronounced it, right?
I don't know.
We're not good at names.
I love how you're literally
bad.
about to do a panel with her and you don't know how to pronounce her name.
To be fair, before the panel starts, we ask, hey, everyone pronounce your name so that we all can, do you know what I mean? Anyway, people look to me all the time because both of us have weird names.
Well, yours is more weird.
Well, your full name is more weird.
No, I haven't had people.
Okay, it's just me then.
It's just you. Except for Coombe is
apparently really hard to
they're
pronounce.
like calm.
Or they're like Coombe? And I'm like, there's no B. Like, where did you get a B?
That's like Coombs.
Yeah,
I get like that.
I also get people just add an S. Or they have a C, and I'm like, it's Coombe with a K, and they're like, oh, like this? I'm like, no, a K, and they're like, oh yeah, shit, you said that. Anyway, we did A Match Made for Thanksgiving, which is a novella, our book 2 of Novella November, and this is like 100 pages.
Yeah,
I think. Okay, let's go with tropes. I have not many tropes. So I have novella, and then I have one night stand. Holiday? Although novellas are notoriously holiday themed.
Well, technically, if you get into the technicalities of this book, technically she was on a date with his brother. So it could be
my brother's girlfriend? Or
not
my brother's
girlfriend.
date?
My brother's date or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like that feels like a stretch. What does Goodreads tell us? Contemporary. Novella. Thanksgiving. Yeah, it honestly doesn't have many.
You don't have tropes.
This isn't a very tropey book. Besides the fact that it's holiday themed, which I feel like novellas are notoriously holiday themed. Okay. Trigger warnings? None. There's no trigger warnings in this book.
Yeah.
Goodreads. So this surprised me because this book and our next book, which we read to prep, have the same amount of ratings, but this book has a 3.67 out of 5 on Goodreads, and our next book has like a 4 something. And I would honestly put them kind of at par. Like I rated these the same.
But they're going after different audiences, right?
So you saying that because this is a contemporary and that's a
monster? Yeah.
So, like, just do monster romance readers just rate things higher?
No, you're just like, this slaps. Next.
And contemporary people are, like, pickier?
I guess, because because, like, monster, I say this about, like, fantasy, like, anything that's like that. You have this level of disbelief when you read it. So you're just like, yeah, sure. He turns into a giant fucking snake. He has horns that stick out of his head. He can't see anything unless he's wearing a veil. Yeah, whatever. But when you're in contemporary, you're like, nah, well, that wouldn't happen in real life.
I mean, I guess so.
Because it's kind of like you just like comparing it to something that you know exists. So
That's true. I thought this would be rated so much higher because this is a well-written book. This is a well-written novella. Like,
Yeah.
it hits all the right beats and you want more. Like, the best thing about a novella is when you read it and you're like, I wish this was an actual book.
yeah.
And I was expecting this to have a higher rating. Like, a 3.67 feels low to me. Like, if it was closer to a 3.9,
I don't know.
would have been like, yeah, okay.
People rating novellas, though, like, I think the average person rates a novella usually around like a 3.
Is it just because they're such a short taste?
They're just short, and like usually a novella never hits what you want it to hit because you wanted it to be like a full-size book,
But it's not.
but it's not. Or like sometimes novellas just take like a fucking weird turn, and you're just like, well,
Like the last one we read, where we're like,
Yeah.
where's this going?
yeah,
Basically. He shows up at our window, and we're like, what? Because, yeah, I thought this was going to be higher. Because this has just under, like, this has, like, 1,600 ratings, which I also thought was kind of low. But novellas, also, it's a holiday and a novella, which puts it in, like, this category of people just, like, it's a niche.
mm-hmm.
I also, like, wonder if it's because, like, do people just not find these books because they're...
Well, this one's not Kindle Unlimited.
That's true. The reason that we got it was because it's at the library. And I think the reason the library had it is because Jackie's a Canadian author. So,
But yeah, this isn't. I think if it was on Kindle Unlimited, it probably could get a bit more traction.
I agree. I was surprised that more people didn't read this, like, hadn't rated this.
But like,
This is a good novella.
people with like, in particular, like ebooks, my range of how much I'd pay for an ebook is like absolutely absurd. Because I'm like
Right.
99 cents, great.
I would pay $6 or $7 for an
if
ebook.
it's like a book that I'm anticipating and I know I'm gonna read and I'm gonna go back to, I'll pay $6. But
'Cause,
like
I think I paid
a book that I'm just like, I've never read this, don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, $2, absolutely fucking not.
really.
But I will note that this is $2.99
yeah
for 100 pages
for the single book.
for the single book.
How much is it for the
I
Holiday with the
didn't
Wong
look.
set?
I didn't look for this. I didn't look
Because
at
this
the
is
set.
actually like book 1 in a set of 4 where each sibling get a novella and they follow like the holidays in order. So it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Chinese New Year, Valentine's Day, I think.
So all the kids hook up within like a 5-month period.
I guess so. No, because the Christmas, so you get the snippet at the end of this book for the brothers' book, and it's
Yeah.
happening the following year
Oh, I thought that.
because they've been together already for a year. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to reread the ending because I took out the like the 4-pack one, and I'm gonna read them all, but I'm like kind of waiting till closer to Christmas to read the Christmas one.
Yeah, but
It's a library book, so I have
it's
to
a
return it
library book.
eventually.
You do have to.
But I can take it back out.
Sure.
Okay, I'll read the back of the book. So, advertising executive Nick Wong enjoys living in Toronto. He loves late nights partying and taking women back to his penthouse. And so it is with great reluctance that he returns to his boring hometown of Mosquito Bay for Thanksgiving. This year, however, is even worse than usual. His interfering parents and grandparents, frustrated with the lack of weddings in the family, have invited blind dates for him and his 3 siblings. Nick's brother Greg has been set up with Lily, who just so happens to be Nick's latest one-night stand, the one he can't get out of his mind. Although Nick has never been interested in settling down, Lily has him reconsidering. Perhaps he's good for more than a single night of sex, dumplings, and bubble tea after all. But first, he has to get through this painful weekend with his family and convince her that she should be with him, not Greg. So, that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's almost as long as this book. It's a big back of the book for like such a like a little 100-page book. So Lily and Nick. Lily was 29. Was that right?
Yeah, she's just about to hit 30, and that's when her mom was like, "Why are you not married yet?"
Also, I love how she was like, "Okay, so in high school, I was on today to focus on my grades. In college, I had to like focus on finishing college, getting a degree, and then after that, I was had to focus on my career. And then all of a sudden, it's like, why aren't you married?" She's like, "You told me not to focus on boys this entire time. Do you think that like a man was just gonna pop out of nowhere and marry me at 30?" I was like, "That's classic."
Yeah,
classic parenting. Where they're like, "Why aren't you dating?" And you're like, "You told me to like
not date
and to focus on my like self and like be a boss bitch, and then now you want me to be married?" You have both things. That was really funny. So Lily and Nick are both Chinese?
Yeah.
Okay, because I wasn't sure. It didn't say Lily was, but I assumed Nick was based on like the description of his Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So Nick's 32. Also, like Penthouse. I was just like, when are they gonna say how much he makes? Because like,
well, he's a marketing executive. So he must be at least six figures.
Toronto. In the
Penthouse? It was probably like at least 300,000. At least.
Shit.
That's like minimum probably if he's like an executive.
Lily said she's an accountant for a large engineering firm, and I was like, she must still make pretty good money.
She doesn't have a roommate, so she makes enough money to to afford her own
not
place.
Like stupid money.
Yeah.
Like Nick, I guess, because it sounds kind of like he has stupid money.
He has stupid money
for like a bachelor who just spends it on himself and living.
And she has enough to like, I think she has enough to like comfortably live on her own, but like,
not like go buy a nice car and like splurge on random shit. That makes sense. Because like the first scene is like them meeting for the first time at the bar. And I thought that was kind of cute. It was like it was endearing because Lily was so like awkward and Nick was like, "Yeah, I'm here for this." And then he just kind of like ditches his friend to like, also they leave the bar before like 9 p.m. or something.
Yeah. Like
really early. Like they get there.
Like she only has like one drink.
Like they get there for like pre-drinking and then leave before pre-drinking even starts.
Yeah. Well, Lily had one drink. Nichols had one drink.
Yeah. And then she had mango juice.
Yeah.
And then they left and had sex at his apartment.
Yeah.
Which like, and then she walks into it and is like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
You live here? So like, that's a good scene. I was honestly not expecting on-page sex. I don't know why. Maybe I've read a lot of novellas that like are either like erotica or like Hallmark movies. So I guess I was like expecting a Hallmark movie. I don't know. But this was not a Hallmark movie.
No.
And thank fuck, because neither of us enjoy closed door romance.
I would have thrown this. I would have been like, I would have texted you immediately and been like, "What did you, why?
Why'd
you pick this?
Why'd you pick this?" Except it has on-page sex. So it hit all the beats. And I feel like we should take a moment to appreciate a guy who understands that women don't just come in with their dick in them. That's just like not how that works. So thanks for that, because this guy does not assume that. And it's really nice.
Yeah. Most women don't come from penetrative sex.
And he was like, immediately like, "Okay, and your clit." And she was like, "Oh, this is great." And I was like, "This is great." Lily was really funny. She was cute. Really endearing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they have their one night, go separate ways, but both want to reconnect.
So Nikki's being like
I should have asked for her number.
Yeah, I should. And then she keeps thinking like, oh, that was a really nice night. That was like, Nick was very nice.
I would have again, but he didn't ask for my number.
But he asked for my number. He said it like we said it was a one night stand. He said he was like
not a
relationship guy. So she was like, yeah, I think about it sometimes, but like obviously wouldn't have gone anywhere. And Nick is like, why didn't I ask for Lily's number? Lily, I could have done this with Lily. And you're just like, buddy.
It's kind of cute though. I liked Nick because it's funny.
I mean, I'm sure Lily could have found who Nick was like very easily,
like by
just like
Googling him.
Yeah, Googling like
going back to the same
like
bar, realizing how close he lived.
Yeah,
there.
he's like a marketing exec named Nick in Toronto. Like,
he didn't say what he did though. He just said he works in marketing. And then she was like, "Oh, okay," and then showed up his apartment and was like, "Oh,
yeah." So literally, she should have thought, "Okay, he's a little bit higher up, so he must have like a page."
Like a website, and just scroll the Google.
Yeah, should have scrolled if she really wanted to. I think like girls are detectives. You give them little snippets of information, and
she would have found
she could probably find him.
Because basically, what happens is like he's supposed to go home for dinner. Also, I love how his parents are like, "Yeah, like you have to bring the chasu," and he's like, "Yeah, I know, I'll bring it." He's like, "Yeah, but you gotta bring it." He's like, "I'll bring it. I'm gonna be there." They're like, "Okay, good. Okay, yeah." And I was like, this is very accurate.
Yeah.
It also was funny because our Thanksgiving dinner is like identical to this Thanksgiving dinner with the exception of like they have a noodle dish and we have sticky rice.
Yeah.
So like I just thought that was so funny. I was like, this is kind of like deja vu-y because this is literally us, but we do sticky rice and they do noodles. That was one thing that was actually really nice because I can't even remember the last book I read where the main character was Asian. Like I can't think of a single book.
I can think of one book. It's Twisted Lies.
I haven't read that.
I read that, but she's Asian. And then Twisted Hate, he's Asian. But I hated Twisted Hate. I hated it. I know some people are like ride or die for that book, but I did not like it.
Oh, really? I haven't read the series. Like I actually can't remember the last time I read a Asian like hero or heroine. And Nick is biracial, which is nice because that's also not very common. And like I don't know, it's just really refreshing because like this was very similar to our actual life.
Yeah.
Like weirdly similar in like his Asian grandparents are the ones that are around. We spent way more time with our Asian grandparents than we did with our white grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And their Thanksgiving dinner was like identical. It was like a white Thanksgiving dinner with like one random Asian dish.
Yeah.
And like all your Asian family with you eating the dinner.
Yeah. I love the Ayah every time.
I was like, this is like, literally Pa.
You literally like you hit a certain age when you're Asian and you just start saying Ayah.
I don't know.
I was catching myself doing it and I was like, I'm not that old.
Maybe it's because Po used to do that all the time where she'd be like, what are you doing? And you're like, I don't know.
She's like, Ayah.
It just was like, it was so strange, but like really refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Strange in the sense that like, this is not common. Like I have not read a book where I've been like, I can actually relate to this. This is like so
the first book in particular, like biracial with them like mixing
in the cult, like
yeah because it's kind of like when they're biracial they're just like
white people who look like they're mixed race.
Yeah,
basically. And in this case it was like no, he's biracial and like spends a lot of time with his Asian grandparents and his Asian side of the family, and like that's a huge part of how he grew up, which is like similar to what we like how we grew up, which was kind of nice. I thought it was really refreshing, and I was like not expecting that. I don't know. Maybe that's why it seems so nice. Is like I just like was not expecting to like it to be so similar and be like, oh, this is like very much our life. Like this actually seems super familiar to us, and it was kind of refreshing. And the grandparents were hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God our mom would not bring dates.
Dude, but her matchmaking would be exactly the fucking same.
It would be the same.
It'd be the same.
So similar.
You'd be she'd pair me up with this weird fucking farmer, like
that
Nick
was
and the farmer.
Hilarious. Where he was like, so basically he shows up to Thanksgiving dinner and his mom has like blind dated all 4 of her children. So
Except
all 4 of her
for
kids.
The sister gets an ex,
ex.
which is just like, why?
but okay, mom would do that.
Mom would do that.
She would do that. Which is why this book just was like, I was like, this literally, like, I just can picture this happening in our life. Like, this is not that far out of the realm of possibilities that this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
If we were, like, this age and we're unmarried, I would not quite put this, like, out of something that could happen to us. Like, it's a little more, or mom would be like, she wouldn't quite invite them over to our house. But, like, she'd be like, you should date this person. And you're like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Like,
if you like them, then they must not be good, you know?
you're like, does it look like I want a farmer husband?
Yeah, Toronto, like, literally city boy and, like
through and through. Like, 100% city boy. Penthouse.
Penthouse suit, fancy suits. He goes to, like, all the restaurants. He always is talking about, like, oh, I gotta take Lily to this restaurant. I gotta go to this restaurant. This is the best restaurant.
Foods.
Yeah. And they go, like, pig farmer.
And he's like, why?
Yeah.
And then she's like talking about manure at dinner, and he's like, this is not for me. I don't know why I'm here. Yeah, then his sister gets an ex, and they're like,
they don't even make it to dinner. They literally have like a full-on fight.
And he's like, Mom, why would you invite the ex back? And she's like, I don't know. I thought it was second chance romance. And he's like, no, your daughter is telling you no. So they like kick him out. Sorry, Abby
she's making so many noises.
She's just like sighing really dramatically. My dog. Yeah, I just thought, like, I don't know, the Thanksgiving dinner, like the setting of dinner was just like so familiar to me that I was like, this is just like refreshing, but also so strange because I feel like I haven't actually read this before.
Yeah.
What did you think about the brothers?
Well, you didn't really get much out of Greg.
Although he's the next book.
He's very quiet. But then they like hint about, because he has like a second chance.
I think it's
his second chance romance. Because he's quiet and he just grunts. And then his younger brother is like a teacher who stayed in the town.
Yeah.
Who also is just like, I think you got more of personality out of
him.
I
don't even think you really heard from the sister.
Yeah, you didn't really get the sister much.
Okay, wait, let's talk about the baking.
I love that. That was my favorite part. When he started baking and his whole family was like, this is new. We're going to come here and mock you as you try to bake. And he's like, guys, I'm trying to do this nice thing. And they're like, that's great, but
we're here
to mock you.
I thought it was like, I was like, this is not a turn I thought this was going to take. And I'm like kind of here for it because it's like quite endearing. Because then he shows up to her Thanksgiving dinner with like,
oh yeah, and he ate Nanaimo bars incorrectly.
Deconstructed. Also,
yeah, he's probably the type of guy who eats a fucking Kit Kat by layers.
Can you even do that?
You can do that.
Also, most Canadian thing ever, to put a Nanaimo bar in here. Can you even get those other places?
Yeah, you can buy them at grocery stores.
In the States?
Oh, not in the States.
That's what I mean.
No, they're Canadian.
If you're American.
Except for it's also very West Coasty.
It is very West Coasty.
Because it's Nanaimo, which is on the island. But, yeah.
It was like a subtle, like, Canadian drop of like, oh yeah, and then there's this. Lily was like, there were a lot of things I liked in here. I liked how when she like started to get not like second thoughts, but like insecure, they like had an actual fucking conversation. Like, I thought that they were setting up a third act breakup, but then it never happened because they just talked.
Well, I mean, like, the book is too short for third act breakup. What it would be, 2 pages?
I mean, yeah. Which I have read novellas that have fucking made it work. Who have they put third act breakups in. Instead, they just like talk like adults.
Yeah.
And then it's fine.
I don't understand the illness, though.
How she was sick.
How she was literally sick for one day.
I
mean, I understand, like, maybe she got the stomach, but it wasn't even a stomach bug. She wasn't, like, throwing up. It was like she had a head cold for one day.
And then also, this is the novella. Like,
and also,
you can't have her sick for that
they
long.
definitely, like, while she was sick, they definitely had sex. So
they also kissed, and, like, he obviously doesn't care if he gets sick. Or he has, like, the immune system of, like, I don't know, Superman, and it's fine. I don't know, man. I thought it was weird that his family just, like...
showed up.
Yeah. Although...
I don't know, Mom does that. She's just like, come pick me up from the ferry. And you're like, what?
Yeah, that's
Excuse
true.
me?
Okay, she doesn't show up, but she does, like, hey, I'm coming in 2 days. And you're like, I'm sorry? What?
Or she'll, like, she literally did this at our Thanksgiving, where she's literally walking out the door with her bags. And she's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm going to come at some point in October for a conference.
And then she doesn't say
and then
bye.
she just leaves. She just leaves.
And then she just shows up.
The day of, she was like, hey, someone needs to pick me up the ferry. And you're like, what?
Hey, I'm going to be at your house at 2 p.m. And I'm like, sorry. So, I mean, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities that this would be a thing. The only thing that I thought, okay, so my least favorite part was that the family would call and then want to talk to her. And I was like, they've been dating for like
a month.
Like, isn't that weird? That would be super weird to me.
I'd be a little weird, but I mean, like,
neither of them
technically, the mom invited Lily to their Thanksgiving. So I feel like
you're already part of the family.
Yeah, circumstances are, and they also take very much a lot of credit for the fact that Nick and Lily are together. They're like, I know we didn't match you up, but technically this is a match that we made. So
if though they knew each other beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's fair, but like also still kind of weird. What was your favorite or least favorite part then?
So when they were making out outside,
oh my God, when he just drops
her?
He
just drops her. I had to reread that twice. I was like, wait a second, did he just like drop her on the ground?
And
like,
it was never actually addressed where he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like,
she just gets up.
And then they're like confronting with his parents.
Yeah, I'm just like, excuse me, sir.
He just dropped her. I did have that as like a, wait a second. They're not going to talk about the fact that he just like literally
dropped her on the ground.
And then she just gets up and like brushes herself off.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Okay, because my favorite part is them sneaking out of the house and having that like outside against the house makeout before the family confronts them. I thought that was so funny that they were like, he gets up and he's like slowly going outside, like giving her the look, like hoping she'll get the memo, and then she gets up and he's like, I knew she'd get it. And they like just like are both outside getting fresh air, and they just end up making out outside, like on the side of the house, and his grandma just shows up.
Grandma's just everywhere you don't want her.
Hello,
to be.
what are you doing? Like, how'd you know we were out here? Okay, what was your favorite part?
I like the baking scene where the whole family is standing in the kitchen being like, I don't think you're doing it right. And he's like, guys, stop.
I'm following the recipe.
And they're like, well, I think if you eat it this way, I think this is the best way to eat it. Or this is the best way to, this is like, because they're talking about butter tarts, which is also very Canadian. But
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, butter tarts are very Canadian. But they were like, oh, I want a runny center, and I like runny centers and butter tarts. And they're like, oh, but I don't like a runny center in my butter tart. And she's like, well, you should do the butter tarts like this. And they're like, no, you should do the butter tarts like that. And he's like, guys, I've literally never made these before.
They are what they are. That's funny. Okay, I figured you'd like that part because you bake.
Yeah. And then he bakes these what bars that like his mom stole the recipe
the lemon bars.
This stole the recipe from a lady who accidentally left her cookbook somewhere, and she just like
Yeah.
she just like took a picture of it because she was like she was never gonna give me the recipe, so I had to do what I had to do.
It's a very like
Small town
parent thing to do.
Yeah.
Our mom would do that.
Yeah, she would definitely steal that recipe.
Our mom would do that too. That's funny.
But she would make them for us, and then she'd be like,
I stole these.
yeah, she's like, how do you like them? Because I stole this recipe.
Yeah, she would. That's funny. Okay. Do you have any points that you want to talk about that we haven't already covered? It's a short book.
It's a short book.
There's actually quite a bit of sex in this too.
Yeah, they have at least 3.
I would say
scenes.
4 if you count the like very last one. Where
When
they
he comes back and
yeah.
when she was sick.
When his family just like shows up.
Because you have the first one, and then you have the one where they get back first to Toronto.
The mirror scene.
Yeah. And then you have the scene where they go to that restaurant where he finds the deconstructed Nanaimo bar because she mocks him because he eats Nanaimo bars ridiculously.
Yeah.
And then after that,
and then I think you have the scene after they've like talked about like how she's insecure and he's like, I love you.
After a month.
Yeah. Although a month isn't that, like if you're seeing somebody 3 or 4 times a week,
I guess.
she was basically living there.
Yeah.
But then I guess like when you're in your 30s, like in late 20s, you kind of already know what you want. You're like, this is just a thing. We're just doing this. So, I mean, I wasn't shocked. But yeah, they had, I would say, at least 4 sex scenes. And then like some sprinkled in where they like have heavy like petting scenes.
Yeah.
Because then what would you say the steam is on this? Like
a 4.
You had this a 4.
Probably 4.
That's really high rating for you.
And how many sex scenes you get.
That's true. Because, okay, you're always really stingy with the steaminess.
I'm very stingy.
And the last 4 we gave the 7-day stand 4.
And then we also gave, okay, so maybe a 3.5. I don't know. You get a lot of sex scenes in his.
You do get a lot of sex scenes in this.
But it doesn't feel like a lot of sex.
It doesn't, because, like, this book is... it's better than the last book we read. So, like, maybe that's why.
It's still, like, my bad.
There's still,
can't
like,
listen to the TikTok girlies anymore.
There's still legitimate plot. There's still, like, legitimate character building. So, like, it doesn't feel like a lot of sex because you feel like you get a complete story.
Mm-hmm.
But then the end of the book leaves you wanting more. You're like, I would have read a full novel of this.
Yeah.
If it came in a full novel, I would read it.
Yeah.
I would go with 3.5. I could because the Vampire Queen Court of the Vampire Queen was also a 4, dude.
I don't know why we didn't give that 5. Like, literally,
it should have been a 5. Realistically,
literally every chapter they fucked.
And the whole plot was just pushed forward by them
sex. Fucking. Like, literally, they were bonded together by fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have given that a 5. I would give this a 3.5.
Okay,
feels
whatever
right.
Ayesha says goes.
Okay, what was your rating? Your overall rating?
8/4.
I gave this a 5 because I liked this.
I liked it, but I just like. I mean,
I wish it was a full book.
Yeah, that's why I was just like.
I mean, novellas also are rarely rated very high because I feel like they always leave you wanting more. But I feel like this is
or they either just you're just like, why did I read that?
Unless they're like a novella that's like an add-on story where like it's the same characters and you're getting like a bonus scene that's like a novella. Would you reread this?
Probably.
Yeah, I would.
If I got the full box set,
I would reread this too. I agree. Would you recommend this?
Yeah.
I would too.
If somebody wants, the thing is, I couldn't recommend it if someone had like a Kindle or like Kindle Limited.
Can you buy this on Amazon though?
Yeah, but like it's like $3.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is with ebooks though is I feel like it's.
I'm so okay. My girl math with ebooks makes absolutely no sense, but like,
I'm pretty sure I paid like $1.99 for The Dragon's Bride.
You probably got on sale because I don't think it's $1.99 anymore.
I think it is more expensive than that. I did get.
I think it's like
sale.
$6 now.
What? Isn't it like only like another 50 pages than this is?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
like that's why my girl math with ebooks just it doesn't make any sense. Because
Because
I'm like anything higher than $2.99, I'm literally like, how much am I gonna read this? Am I gonna go back to this? Is it just gonna sit on my Kindle?
See, the thing is that these
Because also you got to think about Kindle space.
okay, you're not anywhere close to being
Okay,
filling
but
your
this is
Kindle.
how my girl math works with ebooks. Okay,
Because like
$2.99 for an ebook? Excuse me.
Because, like, if I got this as the box set, like, of the 4, I would probably reread this as, like, a holiday thing. Like, I'd go back and read this on Thanksgiving, and I'd go back and read the Christmas one on Christmas, and then I'd read the New Year, the Chinese New Year one in
You
January.
always do that with
I do
seasons.
that.
You do that a lot with seasons.
Like, I read Scream for us again.
Did you read the full book, or did you just read the novella?
The novella. I didn't read the full book. I should go back and read the full
You
book.
need to take the hit for us, and you got to read the full book.
I gotta...
Do it for the team. Do it for the pod.
Do it for the pod. Okay. Do you have anything left to say about this book?
No, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
If she went back and she wrote full novels,
I would read this.
yeah, she just added 200 pages.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't read any of actually there's one book that she's written that's really popular that I've seen at like Indigo, and I was like, "Oh, I like didn't connect the dots that like this was the same person."
What book is it?
Like Donut Fall in Love or The Stand-Up Groomsman. That one was on
Oh,
Instagram
yes, I've
for a
heard
while.
But I don't trust those TikTok girlies anymore.
I know. I've been led astray by Instagram Reels and TikToks.
I have evidence that I've been led astray by all the TikTok girlies, okay?
Twice. We've happened
Twice. Multiple,
on this
actually
podcast.
probably more than that.
But twice on this podcast.
Yeah. And many times in my
Personal
personal reading.
Okay. What are you currently reading?
Currently reading The Pact by Susanna Wright. Is it Susanna or
It's
Suzanne?
Suzanne.
Suzanne Wright. I mean, like you can't really go wrong with a Suzanne Wright. It's just like
That's true.
you're kind of always getting the same formula.
Sometimes I feel like when you read an author and like the characters are the same.
The characters is like honestly, I was telling you earlier, The Pact is just The Favor, but just like repackaged.
I mean,
Which is like, I am enjoying
maybe
it.
you do a marriage at convenience that different though.
I am
eventually they're all kind
like
of
I am enjoying it. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and I am enjoying it. Like you're not gonna have a bad time with the Suzanne Wright book, but you can't like binge her entire catalog all at once because all the characters just blend together. Because that happened in the Dark in You series where like one of them I literally was like, this is just a copy paste of Harper and Knox.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Reaper, I was just like,
Is that the one with the angel or the archangel or
no,
whatever?
that's the one with the like bodyguard, like Knox's like closest.
Oh, the dog thing. I can't think of what
No.
it's called.
The Reaper. He's literally a Reaper. He's
Is
the
he
one
the
that
one
they
with
fight. He was
Chloe?
fighting in the pit, and that's when they met.
Oh, I
If
don't
he was the
remember
one
this.
fighting, I forgot what his name is.
I don't
but
remember this. I do remember. I don't remember
Because
the fight.
Devin and Tanner,
Yeah.
who are the hell dog and the hell cat,
Okay. Yeah.
or the hellhound,
No.
and then there is
Chloe.
and what's his name, Keenan,
I don't know.
and
I haven't
then
read the really long
and
time.
then forgot what the Reaper's name is.
I don't know.
And then
I don't think
there's
I've read that book.
I
haven't read that one.
and then Chloe's what's
Tegan
it called?
and-
Tegan and
I don't remember
the other girl.
girl's
But
names.
that's like who's Chloe's anchor gets the last book. Apparently she's going to continue the series, but
Oh,
I don't know who. But they're also going to do a spin-off with all the angels. Oh, and then obviously what's her name?
Doesn't the kid get a book?
Renee?
I don't know.
The friend. The one that's a succubus. She has the angel. Which then angels are introduced in that book.
Oh, and she's gonna spin off. With
And then
the
she's going to
angels.
spin off.
I see. I haven't finished that series.
We're in like conspiracy theory time at this point. We're just like, there's a book off a book off a book off a book.
Yeah.
Because the pact is the Favors kid and then Shivers kid.
Yes.
And they're going to do an entire series on it because they all have multiple kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What am I reading?
Yeah, what are you reading?
I've actually gone back and I reread the Monstrous series. So I finished Eden, which is book 2 from Soul Eater, and then I went back and she has like a book full of all of the like novellas and like bonus chapters. And I've just been reading all of the novellas and they're just so funny. And then I literally have just been reading straight novellas from just that series for the last like 2 days.
All right.
They're good. I love that series. Okay. This comes out post panel. We're recording this before the panel, but this comes out after the panel. So I hope you guys all tuned into the panel that is on, or was on, I guess, after this comes out on November 12th. The panel will actually be released as a bonus episode post this episode. So sometime between this episode and our next episode, the panel will be released as a bonus. So if you didn't tune in live, you can listen to it. It will be a bonus episode that once I finish editing, that will go up. And then the book box pre-orders also go live on the 25th. So about a week and a bit post this episode. So if you haven't already looked at our Instagram and the book box Instagram, please do. We'll have all the spoilers will be up. So you'll be able to preview all the items and also look at the books that will be in the first box. Otherwise, as usual, rate, review, and subscribe. They're really helpful when you guys do that because it's how people find us. Tell your friends, tell your, book friends, your book communities about us. It helps us grow and it helps us reach new audiences. Check out our website. That's kind of like where everything goes, is our website. And then if you want to reach us, I am the one that runs our Instagram, and that's like where we're the most active.
If you want to reach us, you're going to be talking to Ayesha.
Yeah, for the most part.
In any way, shape, or form, you're probably going to be talking to Ayesha.
If you email us, it'll also be me. We do have a book suggestion form on our website. So if you have a book suggestion and you don't want to DM us, you can fill out the form on our website. The link is also in our bio because we're always looking for suggestions. We haven't quite picked the New Year themes yet because December is going to be holiday themed because why not? So if you have suggestions for January, hit us up because we're always looking for suggestions. Otherwise, that's all for this week. We'll be back in your ears next week.
Bye.